Hello, welcome to episode 2 of the Ezra Shere show. Guess that's what we're calling it now. So, first thing I want to talk about today is called my Yiheng Wang theory. Now, we've done a lot of theories so far on this show. I know I don't want to make the whole thing Ezra Shere talks about theories that he has made up in his brain, but this one I think is gaining traction at least a little bit. So, I I actually commented it on one of Matthew Mayernick's videos, commented my theory, but I'm gonna explain it today here to you guys. Hopefully, just to get onto my channel a little bit. Um, Also, be on the lookout. There might be a video about it coming to your feed soon. Not necessarily from my channel, but from someone else's. I know it's spooky, right? But the workings are behind the scenes. The cubing Illuminati has been working on a video. Just wait for it. But anyways, so Yiheng Wang theory goes like this. Yiheng Wang, he has like a 0.38 gap between him and Timon, the next highest person, right? Um, and don't get me wrong, this has happened before, right? Like Felix had the theoretical record for like 7 years or whatever straight. So obviously it's not like a once in a history thing, but it's a once in a, it's really impressive. And it's pretty confusing because it's like how does he do it? Like there's other Chinese kids, there's other people who've been doing this fast. Like back in the day, Felix, like there wasn't that, like he was just genetically superior, right? Like, he had better genetics, obviously better visuospatial skills. I learned that visuospatial skills, something that helps with cubing. Um, but like he had better innate abilities, but also he just practiced more, right? So it was like, yeah, Felix is the best in the world, right? But then like now we have a lot of people practicing, a lot, and Yiheng is still crushing everyone, like on a level that Felix is doing. I mean, like 0.38 in the back in the day was like 0.38 is nothing. Now 0.38, that's like a lot. And if you look at like the top 15 averages, Yiheng has like all of them. I think he has 14 out of the top 15. So it's like something's going on here, right? The theory goes like this. Yiheng, if you okay, first of all, let me explain this. If you look at the top like pianists and chess players and violinists and like all these like instruments and like speed typing, even all of the best speed typists and things like that, they all start when they're like 4 years old or like even younger. Like a 4 year old seems like the average age. I did some research, so it's like why does starting at 4 years old help you? Well, because your brain can like mold, right? It can like normal people's brains adapt to like just live normal day life, but these people, since they're playing violin from such a young age, or playing piano or typing or whatever, or playing chess, their brain like can learn these things at a faster rate, and it like molds to be able to take in this information and like do these things better. So like for me, for violinists, it's like to know where the things are, and to like move their hands really quickly and to be able to like memorize pieces or whatever. I don't know anything about violin, but like you get what I'm saying. But in like in like chess, it would be like being able to memorize positions better than like if someone started learning at an older age, they would never be able to memorize these positions like this 4 year old could memorize positions, right? Normal 15-year-old, plays chess for 15 years. Now he's 30, right? And he knows some of these positions, right? This 4 year old, he'll be 19. He'll be playing chess for 15 years also, but he can memorize so many more positions because his brain is just like geared towards that. It developed in a way to help know to make him better at chess or whatever. So I think you can see where this is going. So like the same thing applies for cubing, right? Cubers can, if they start at such a young age, and Yiheng is really the first example we've seen this, that like there's other Chinese cubers that are doing this. Yiheng was the first one, so he's had the most experience, right? Like he was like 6 years old, and back then there weren't a lot of like, or he started at 4 or 5 years old, and like he was one of the first 4 or 5 year olds Chinese kids. Now we have more, which might be catching up to him, but they're younger than him, so we'll have to see. But Yiheng started at like 4 or 5 years old, and now he's like 10 now, so he's been doing it for like 6 years, and clearly, this is what happened. Clearly, because he started at such a young age, he's been cubing for 6 years. Some of the other best cubers in the world have been cubing for like 6 years. I mean more, but like more just proves my example more, right? So the other cubers, he's been cubing for a short amount of time than them, but I think his brain did the same thing that like violinists do. It like developed in a way to make him, have like better turn consistency. Like every time he does a turn, his hand's gonna do the same exact thing, and the next thing is gonna know, like the next finger is gonna know how to time it perfectly. I think that's because of the way he started cubing at a young age. And the same thing I think goes for like joints. So like pianists, right? Their joints probably develop also in a way. I'm not sure about this, but I'm guessing, right? It would make sense. but like their joints develop in a way to like be able to hit keys just exactly right and like fastly and nimbly and swiftly. So I think that's the same thing happened for Yiheng. Like his hands also, not just his brain, but his hands developed in a way where they could turn super fast and super fluidly and like perfectly. And like his joints could do things that maybe if you started at an older age, your joints just wouldn't be able to do that stuff. But his joints developed in him. You know, you get it. So I think this probably applies to a lot of things in cubing, just tons of things. And, people might say that like, oh, it comes down to like just genetic abilities. Like he's just genetically superior. And I think that has to do some of it. Obviously, you have to have good genetics. This is something that's not talked about enough. But it's like Olympic track running. You need good, like if you have just average genetics, you're not going to be the world record holder 800-meter runner, right? Like you have to have like David Rudisha, the 800-meter world record holder for 800-meter. You have to have his level of genetics. Like you can't just be an average Joe and train super hard and run a lot of miles. You're never going to get on the Olympics, right? But if you have good genetics, you can, it's something that's not talked about enough. I'm rambling a lot here, but it's just not talked about enough. You need good genetics to be a top level cuber. Right, I didn't have 3x3 genetics. I practiced 3x3 more than I did pyramids, but I never got good at 3x3. I mean, I got like 7 second average, which is good, but like not world class. So yeah, some of this, was genetics, but I think the fact that he's actually not the best in any category. He doesn't have the fast TPS. He doesn't have the fastest look ahead. Well, he's definitely paralleled in look ahead, right? Like Max Park and Yiheng are two really good examples. He's definitely paralleled by them when it comes to look ahead. And any statistic, I don't think he's really the best at any statistic. I mean, you guys feel free to like contradict me on this, but I couldn't think of a statistic where Yiheng was better than anyone else. And I did some research on like some websites where you can see like TPS and like move count and all these things. And none of these things seemed like Yiheng had any of the best solves. He had like some of the best solves, but other people also had really good really good statistics for these things. So yeah, I don't think it comes out of genetics because he's definitely paralleled all these things. What would make sense to me is that it was more of the 4-year-old violinist effect that caused him to just be really good at everything, whereas no one else is doing this high level at everything. He's doing a high level at every ability in cubing in 3x3, whereas other people, Luke Garrett has really fast TPS and really good look ahead, but like he's not in some other categories. He's pretty low, right? This goes for like everyone, but Yiheng, he's just at the top tier. He's like no one is like really that much better than him at anything, and there's a case for like some things where he's just like only people can parallel him. Like they're not even better than him. Like I would say that for like turning fluidity and look ahead, which are two things that like I think definitely starting at a young age would help with, right? So that's the Yiheng Wang theory. Okay, segueing into something else that some smart people do, AP tests. So they're the things in the United States. I'm sure some of my viewers have taken these before. They're like, okay, so they're not like a really big deal in terms of like getting into college, but once you get into college, these will let you skip classes. So if you take AP, let's say AP English language, you can probably skip your first English class in college. And that's like you get, it's like a class for free basically because you took it in high school for free. I mean, taking the exam costs like $300, but okay, I don't need to explain AP tests. A lot of you guys know. If you don't know them, it doesn't really matter. But they're graded on a scale of 1 to 5. If you get a 4 or a 5, that usually means you get college credit. If you get a 3, a 2, or 1, a 3, you might get college credit. 2 and 1, you can't get college credit for those. So I took AP tests in May, and I just got my scores back yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But so I took 3 classes. I took AP Computer Science Principles, which I'm not going to take any computer science classes in college, so that's kind of stupid. I don't know why I took that exam. AP Macroeconomics and AP Microeconomics. And those are 2 classes I might take in college. Actually, probably will, right? Because sometimes those are like, for a lot of things you need to know in college, like a lot of degrees. I'm not sure what I'm doing in college yet, but for a lot of degrees, macroeconomics class and a microeconomics class, and an economics 101 class, like you're probably going to have to take that. So those are actually pretty helpful for college. And so both those classes, I got a 4 on macroeconomics and a 5 on microeconomics. So that was really good. And then a 3 on computer science principles, which I don't really care about. But what I'm talking to you guys about today is what is the worst score to get, okay? What's the worst score to get on an AP exam? I mean, you guys have some of you guys have taken them before. If you haven't taken them, think in your heads. What do you think the worst AP exam score is, right? A 1 and a 2, you didn't pass. So those are pretty bad. A 3, you might pass. So that's like, you don't even know if you're going to pass. So that's pretty hard. Like, that's a bad score to get. A 4, we'll get into that because I think that's the worst score. And a 5, well, you probably knew you were getting a 5, right? So that's, if you got a 5, you probably knew I was going to get a 5. So, well, let's get into this. So, okay, a 1 and a 2, I just explained. Okay, if you got a 1 or 2 on an AP exam, you definitely just walked into the class knowing I'm not getting a 4 or a 5. Like, I didn't study, I didn't put anything into this, whatever, right? So 1, 2, definitely not the worst scores to get. Right, a 3, it's pretty bad. I'm gonna be honest. A 3 is pretty bad. I got a 3 and a 4 and 5 though, so I can speak for myself here. A 3 was not the one I was most upset about because honestly, a 3, I was just happy about getting a 3. I think most people who get a 3, they're just happy they got that 3. Because most people, I think if you really study for the exam, you really put a lot of effort into it, you're either getting a 4 and a 5. A 4 or a 5. A 3 though, like, that's probably someone who thought they were getting a 1 or 2 and just snuck in with a 3, right? So I think 3 is not the worst score to get. A 5, because I think 4 is the worst score, so I'm going to skip it for now. A 5 is, I think if you got a 5, I already explained this, but I think if you got a 5, you knew you were going to get a 5, right? You thought there's a chance I get a 4, and I'll be upset if I get a 4. But I'm pretty sure I got a 5, and, I really studied a lot for this. So, like, I better get a 5, right? Which is why a 4 is the worst score. Because a 4 means you studied a lot for that exam, right? You, like, really put in a lot of time to study for that exam. You hoped you were going to get a 5 because you were like, I mean, a 4 is okay. A lot of colleges, most colleges accept 4s. Like, really hard colleges will only accept 5s, but most colleges accept 4s. So it's like, I did good, right? Like, I got college credit. But at the same time, it's like, are you serious? I put a lot of time studying the exam, and I didn't get a 5. Like, let me talk to whoever's grading these exams. Call them up and be like, dude, what went wrong? And the worst part about this, AP doesn't give you, like, the questions you got wrong. It doesn't tell you anything. It just gives you that number. So it's tough out here. It's tough out here for AP exam takers getting 4s, right? So, yeah. 4 is the worst score. Sorry to all the homies who got 4s this year. I got a 3 and a 4 and a 5, so I feel like I can speak for all the people who took AP exams this year and say that 4, the worst score. All right, next thing we're going to be talking about, we're going to stay in a little cubing thread. Well, we kind of skipped. We were talking about cubing, then we skipped cubing. Then we didn't talk about cubing. Now we're going to talk about cubing again. So, stupid cubing Instagram Reels, guys. Okay, if you're on Instagram Reels, if you're on Instagram at all, you're going to see these Instagram cubing Reels where, oh no, I don't know. I brought a little prop, but I left it in the basement. Anyways, so you'll get these Instagram Reels, and actually, I have one right here, guys. I was gonna edit it in, but I think I'll just show you guys right now. So, look at this. Look at how stupid this is. He's like, oh, will the 5x5 fit in the middle? No, the 5x5 doesn't fit in the middle. What if I fill in some of it? Will a 3x3 fit in the middle? Oh, a 3x3 won't fit in the middle. What if I move it that way? Oh, no, if I turn it, it still won't fit. Wait, why is one of them unsolved? Can I just put a piece of paper on top of it? No, I need to turn it a few times. Make it all blue. Wow, you did it. You did it, Joe. Right? It's like, what the heck is this? And there was this Ting Man video. I think a lot of people who watch me have seen this Ting Man video because it was, like, pretty popular, and I think it speaks to a lot of the same people who watch my videos. And I'm totally guilty of this. I'm part of the problem. So the Ting Man video was about how cubing content is just, like, sucks now, right? Like, cubing content, no one makes JPerm videos. No one makes JRCuber style videos. No one makes, like, high quality, like, good camera. Or not good camera, but, like, you guys know what I mean. You watch this video and you feel like it's really, like, high quality. I don't know how to say it. But like a non-cubing YouTuber would put out this video. Like, it's just really, like, polished, I guess is the word. And those videos have kind of died away. There's only a few people making those, like Cubehead and Ting Man are the ones that come to my mind. I don't watch a lot of cubing YouTube though, so I mean, I'm not up to date with it. But okay, anyways, I'm guilty of this. I post a lot of solving videos. Now I'm doing this, which I actually put some time into thinking about what I'm going to talk about and things, detailing what I'm going to talk about. But okay, aside from that, so he talked about, like, how cubing content has gotten, like, so, like, just just film a 15-second clip and then upload it. But this is another level of cubing. What's it called? What's the like brain rot? Brain rot. This is cubing brain. I can't believe I forgot that word. The cubing brain rot is what's right here. This is like level 9,000 cubing brain. Like I thought, like level like 1,000. Like we were really bad. Was when people were uploading like 4-second Instagram reels of like them solving it 10 times, like an average of 12 cut into like a 4-second video, just to like get as much action into there as possible, or like you have like 4 different angles cut into one Instagram reel or whatever. But this is like, what is going on here? How do people watch this? Like, who is watching this actually? Who is watching those videos? And how do they have, how many, 126 likes? I mean, I guess it's not that much, but like, he's doing it in, it's like, on Instagram when it's like someone's username and someone else's username. This is Ahmed cubing YT and Moyu cubes. Like Moyu was like sponsoring this guy to make these videos. Oh, actually, it was from YouTube Shorts, so I'm guessing it got a ton more views on YouTube Shorts. Like, I don't understand. If you're on Instagram Reels, and I don't use Instagram Reels, but if you're on Instagram Reels, wouldn't you just scroll right past this? Like, the level of brain rot in people who are watching these, like, it's just crazy. Cubing YouTube has gone to total. Okay. Speaking of brain rot, Gen Z were very guilty of, just watching brain rot. TikTok, we were really the pioneers of TikTok brain rot and that stuff. And that's probably something that we're allowed to be nostalgic for, right? We're allowed to be nostalgic for TikTok because, we sort of pioneered the whole TikTok space, right? But something I think the stupidest thing that Gen Z is nostalgic for is this thing called Frutiger Aero. So I was watching a JJ McCullough video. Close viewers of this channel will know I love JJ McCullough because they've seen my videos where I listen to him in the background while I'm cubing or whatever. So he makes so I've been catching up on JJ McCullough videos because like at the end of like the school year I was like really busy with school and things, so like I didn't have any time to watch like a lot of like YouTubers that I like. But during the summer I've been catching up with them, like watching the videos that I missed. And this is one of them. So it was about like Gen Z's obsession with Frutiger Aero and their nostalgia for it. If you don't know what this is, so Frutiger Aero, it's like this what's it called? Aesthetic. It's this aesthetic from like the 2000s and the early 2010s. And I remember it sort of like, I'd say the best example of it that comes to my brain when I think of it. Well, I mean, I only learned about it like a few days ago, but it's like those, like, you ever see that phone? I mean, if you're older than 10 years old, you've seen this. You ever seen that phone background where it's like bubbles and it's blue? That's Frutiger Aero. So it's like this like ultra. It's supposed to look like realistic, like it's real life or something. And so the whole reason why this is a thing is because in like the 2000s or the early 2010s, computer companies were still like super obsessed with like just increasing how realistic they could have images look. So they wanted like everything just look like nature and like beauty, because they were like, look, our screen is like, it's in HD right now. Now we have HD. Like you can have a phone background that looks like real life, right? And then they actually moved away from that in the late 2010s. Now all the designs are like really simple. Like if you think about what's a good example? It's like, well, I don't know a really good example actually. I can't think of one right now. Maybe the YouTube logo or something. But like everything now is like super simplified, right? Like all the company logos have become like just super simple, like just like drawings, right? So Frutiger Aero is the opposite. It's like everything they wanted to look like really natural and like not like they were drawn by a computer. They wanted to look like real life. And so it was this aesthetic that was like, it also went into real life. Like I'm sure a lot of you guys saw like maybe your school was renovated and it was like a lot of bright colors and like things that were supposed to look like natural or whatever. Like you guys know what Frutiger Aero is if you haven't seen it. But the stupid thing is how people like turned it into nostalgia. Like I seriously think we're grasping at straws when you talk about, oh, Frutiger Aero. Wow, I really miss Frutiger Aero. Like, what are you... Segueing into another topic, a lot of Gen Z read these books called A Series of Unfortunate Events as kids. I know a lot of you guys have probably read them. Hopefully a lot of you guys have read them because they're awesome books. But originally they were books made for adults, right? They were like children's novels. They turned into children's novels. But the author originally, the idea was to make them as an adult, like focused. The demographic they were making them for was adults. But it turned into, he realized he wanted to make them for children. So he wrote these like children's books. There's 13 of them, I think, and I've read all of them. I read all of them as a young child, but they were like really good. They were like sort of gothic, like very like it's not real life. Like it's about these three children. Their parents die, or yeah, three siblings. Their parents die in a house fire, and then they go to all these different guardians because they have to go to all these different guardians because their parents died, right? But then every time they go to a new guardian, this guy named Count Olaf, who's the super villain, he's a super scary super villain. He always finds them and he tries to steal their enormous fortune because they have this enormous fortune that their parents left them. But they escaped the house fire. The Count Olaf, I think, burned. I think it's Count Olaf. I don't remember all of the details exactly of how the story goes. I'm pretty sure Count Olaf burns down their parents' house. Parents die, but the children survive. And then Count Olaf tries to. He's like he needs to steal the kids' fortune, right? Because their parents left them this fortune. So he tries to like kill all their owners. And in the first book, some really messed up crap. And this is where we're getting into the thing I want to talk about, which is these books are not for children. I don't know what the author was thinking, but when I read these books as a child, I was scared shitless. I couldn't even I had to throw these books in my closet. I had to stop reading these things for a few months and then picking them back up and deep breaths while I was reading them because I was so scared. I thought these books were gonna open up and Count Olaf was gonna emerge from the book and attack me, right? I thought he was gonna steal my freaking, I don't know what I have. I don't have an enormous fortune, but I thought he was gonna steal my something. I don't know. But the first book, Count Olaf tries to marry one of the children. He tries to marry, I think she's 14 in the book, maybe. I'm not even sure. And he tries to marry one of them in order so he can, have her fortune when she comes of age. Because, she can't, I'm really explaining these books right now, but, she can't give away she can't have access to the fortune until she's 18. And she's only, 14. But if Count Olaf can marry her, then he can get the fortune early. This is a children's book, guys. There's definitely some things that aren't said out loud, but definitely insinuated about these books. In another one, he tries to, well, I don't know you get into all the nitty gritty details, but you guys get it. So it's really, there's a lot of insinuations in these books that are not children friendly. But the thing about these books is they're insanely scary. They're everything is just totally off the rails. It's not real life. But when you're a child, you don't really understand that this can't happen. So I was scared of Count Olaf. I thought Count Olaf was I thought this was a real book. And the way they frame it, okay, the way that the book is written, it's written by a guy named, the author goes under an alias of Lemony Snicket. And Lemony Snicket is actually a person in the fictional story. So the whole thing seems like it's happening in real life. That's how he makes it sound. He's the opening of every book goes like this. It's do not open this book. This book contains real events. I'm so sorry. I wish it was fictional events, but this book contains real events. Just put this book down right now, otherwise you're gonna be depressed. And that's the opening of every book. There's a little blurb that goes like that, and it's this is a children's book. What are we talking about? I think there's children that are scarred for life from these books. So that's my series of unfortunate event talks, and now. I guess that was sort of the segment today where I give a little story. The final thing I'm going to talk about today is the guy who plays Count Olaf in a series of unfortunate events. And I can't wait to talk about this guy. He's just he's a legendary actor in my mind. Now, his name is Neil Patrick Harris. And I've actually only seen 2 things he's done. So I can't wait. But I didn't realize I really enjoyed this actor until a few days ago. But I can't wait to watch more stuff he's done. Because, okay, I watched a series of unfortunate events, so they're books, and they turned into a TV show, and the TV show is really good. This is another thing. When my brother, he was he wanted me to watch the show with him when it came out in 2017 or whatever, after I'd already finished the books by then. He was he wanted me to read or watch the show with him, and I watched the first episode with him, and I just couldn't watch the rest of the episodes. I was too scared, and then I think I watched them when I was older and wasn't scared of everything. But I watched them when I was older and finished the show or whatever. I'm not even sure if I watched all the show. But the guy who plays Count Olaf, Neil Patrick Harris, what an actor. He's just so Count Olaf takes these new disguises every time he tries to steal the kids' fortunes. So he gets to Neil Patrick Harris really gets to play all these different characters just within this one character, and he'll break character and he'll turn back into Count Olaf sometimes. It's just so amazing that I had to give it a mention on this show because. Man, Neil Patrick Harris, if you guys haven't seen anything this guy's done, he's just insane. And then so he plays this like super villain in the show who's like, by the way, the show is also meant to be for like children, and it's supposed to be for like also children and also adults. I think that's the way they were trying to go with it. So like parents could watch it with their children and not be bored, but also wouldn't be too scary for children. But this show is scary too. I don't know how. I mean, okay, so Count Olaf, he's like in the books, he's always scary. He's not usually humorous. But in the TV show, he's like sometimes he'll like break character and like be kind of funny.
He'll insist on me rearranging my morning itinerary to bring them these passports.
He'd want me to have them.
Can't you see, Mr. Poe? That's Count Olaf. He's in disguise and he's trying to take us away.
Who am I? What am I doing? Don't you miss the vivid imagination of childhood?
I never had one.
An imagination or a childhood?
At least, not on purpose.
Adverse.
But accidents happen all the time, don't they?
And that is when I said to him, the frog is the greatest reptile known to man.
The frogs are amphibians.
But
Stefano, where did you study herpetology?
I don't know anything about mouth sores. Oh, I love this song.
Were to do something impolite to me, like, for example, call me by the wrong name, I would have to do something impolite to them, like, for example, tear their hair out with my bare hands.
And it's like, it makes it hilarious, but also makes it so scary, because it's like, damn, Count Olaf is like, just off the walls crazy. Like, you never know what this guy's gonna do next. He tries to kill, he kills a lot of people in this series. And he has like a knife usually, and like, he tries to cut one of the kids' heads off. He puts one of the kids in a cage. He hangs, there's like one of the kids is a baby, and he hangs them in a cage. This series is insane. And Neil Patrick Harris plays this guy so well. It's so insanely well, like, it's so insanely well done. The show is so insanely well done. Like, it just, the set design is so awesome. Like, the direction they went in for the show, wow. And like Neil Patrick Harris just totally steals the show, let me tell you. Like, the children actors aren't that good. You can tell like one of them has a crush on the other one, so it's kind of funny. But Neil Patrick Harris totally steals the show with this series. You guys like need to watch it. And then the other thing that I've seen Neil Patrick Harris in is I watched the first season of How I Met Your Mother, and I'm guessing some of you guys have seen this show because it has like a cult following on the internet, and like a lot of people love this show. And he plays this guy named Barney, and Barney is like, it's what every guy wants to be. He just like, he pretends. Neil Patrick Harris, I watched an interview he did. He said Barney pretends like life is way more fun than it is. And that's like the perfect way to describe this character. And honestly, that's everyone's. Like, when you watch a show, there's usually a character who kind of fills that role. And Neil Patrick Harris, like, he plays it so well. So it's just like, he plays Count Olaf, this insane supervillain. And he can also play this guy who's a total, like, you just want to be him. Like, Count Olaf, he's like ugly and things like that. But like, Barney Stinson's like, every guy wants to be this guy. He's super macho, like, awesome. Yeah. He plays laser tag. I'll put some clips of him playing laser tag in here.
Hey, loser! How's not playing laser tag? Because playing laser tag is awesome! Oh, I killed you, Connor! Don't make me get your mom!
Nice! We win! Oh, walk of shame, walk of game. What up?
Oh, good to see you. Hey, brother! This game affects my league score!
Men, it's us versus them. Our actions here today will echo through eternity. Stand up straight, Caden! With 3 10s you bang, throw a bone to a 5. They're grateful and hardworking, and let's face it, sometimes you just want to lay there.
What's that got to do with laser tag?
Everything!
So long, losers! Wait, can you guys help me down?
But anyways, this podcast was kind of weird. I talked about a lot of different things, but, you know, whatever. It was fun. I liked it. We talked about Neil Patrick Harris, a series of unfortunate events, Yiheng Wang, cubing Instagram Reels, Frutiger Aero, JJ McCullough. We got a lot of stuff accomplished today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm filming this from my brother's bedroom. I didn't consult with him before this, but, you know, it is what it is. If he'll see this on YouTube, and either he'll give me a call all the way from Israel, where he's living right now, and be like, yo, dude, take that podcast down. You cannot doing podcasts from my bedroom, or he'll be like, you use my bedroom for a podcast? How awesome. I'm guessing it's going to go the first way. But thank you guys so much for watching. Ezra Shere, out. Why did I do that? Stupid.